Good morning, it's me, Pearl, and this is Tuned In Tarot. And we're about to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and divine feminine energies inside of ourselves. Understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see reflected back to us in our external environment and in our interactions with others. And if we want to see shifts and change around us, we have to make shifts and change inside of how we are working with our own energy. Okay, we are going to start today with Divine Feminine because she is showing all her cards. Fair warning, there is so much overthinking and overfeeling today. So it's a lot. Divine Feminine starts out forefront of her mind, top of the deck, overall of her headspace is Temperance in reverse. We're switching things around because I was gifted a deck by my friend Michelle, and it's a lovely deck. So I'm going to be using a new heart space deck. So we're shifting the field tarot into the headspace now, but we are looking at the headspace, and we're looking at temperance, issues with temperance, resistance to temperance, impatience. I get a sense of impatience here. There's impatience. It's just sort of like, obviously yesterday, if you were here for the reading yesterday, the energy for Divine Feminine is she's really needing to kind of take that space and just go and start to give herself the things that she needs and give Divine Masculine the time that he needs to do healing. And the Temperance card being in reverse is this impatience with this healing process for her. She's like, I don't want to do this, but I do, because I can't not be, an independent being. I can't be stuck on this one iteration. Like, I have to really take care of my needs and give myself the essence of what I need. So she's thinking a lot about these choices. She's feeling impatience. She's feeling urgency. Because now that she's made this decision, she's just sort of like, okay, I just need to do it. Like, I don't want to backtrack. I don't want to change my mind because I deserve to be a whole person. So there's a whole lot of that going on. But the energy from the Temperance card is this healing angelic energy, this behind the scenes thing that's taking place. It's a card that has, like the Tower actually, implications of divine intervention. The implications of divine intervention from the Tower are usually like, listen, y'all are repeating the same cycles, so I'm going to step in and I'm going to fuck shit up and get you all to wake up. Like, that's like the Tower kind of intervention. This is a much gentler, like, hey, y'all need some healing. I'm just going to come in and I'm gently going to like stitch up these wounds while you're sleeping in the dream space, in the 5D. I'm going to give you a sense of peace. As soon as you surrender to this energy, this divine energy, you will feel this peace. And it's about moderation, right? Not being too this, not being too that, not being too emotional, not being too numb, but just letting that nice balance happen. Divine Feminine, not feeling a whole lot of that balance right now because she's feeling these shifting tides within herself that came with that Wheel of Fortune card we saw yesterday. So that's forefront of her mind. And the niggling thing in the back of her mind, underlying everything, is the Five of Swords in reverse. This is about her knowing Divine Masculine is not likely to accept defeat and her kind of wanting that, but also just being sort of like frustrated. She's so defeated by her situation. She's like, I don't understand how you could ask this of me. And so she's just defeated. She's like, I can't ask this of myself. I love myself too much to be defeated and just do what, like, this master slave situation is just not cute. It's not cute. It's not going to work for me. So she just doesn't want to fight with Divine Masculine anymore against this energy. This is the imbalance and the impatience she feels, though. She feels impatient that it's like he's not going to accept defeat, but then why doesn't he just come get his fucking victory? Like, why are we fucking around with this 5 of Swords energy when we could be in the 6 of Wands energy, right? So it's not the best feeling. She's not in the best headspace right now. If that's forefront and back of her mind, that's tension, that's imbalance. But the divine is intervening. When that card is in reverse, that's when the universe is like, okay, I need to step in because I can see that you hit your limit, you're exhausted, you're defeated, and you can't be defeated because this is a divine thing. So we're going to step in, we're going to heal things, don't worry about it. The first thing on her mind is the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. I love the abstraction here we're getting from this field tarot deck, because the 10 of Pentacles traditionally is represented as like the family with this patriarch. There's like a married couple, there's a dog, there's it's like traditional heteronormative displays of capitalist fulfillment. We have a house, we have a car, we have a white picket fence, 2.5 kids and a dog, and we got a cat. One of the ones that doesn't have fur because Timmy's allergic, right? That's such a specific type of happiness. But this is whatever your material happiness encompasses. For everybody, it's so different. And I just like that they've abstracted it to colors, right? All the spectrum of the things that make you feel fulfilled and happy. Kind of like the Sun card in the Prisma Visions deck. For Divine Feminine, it's in reverse because she's trying to release this attachment to the outcome of what constitutes these discs and this 10 of discs. She doesn't want to put expectations here because she knows that in the past, the expectations have caused wounds, triggering really. They haven't caused the wounds, they've triggered these inner child wounds in this 3 of Swords energy, this heartbreak. But the 3 of Swords is also in reverse. And this is a card about sorrow and heartache. It's about seeing hard truths through the lens of an experience that's pretty uncomfortable. And she's craving this establishment that comes from this 10 of Pentacles material stability. She feels like she doesn't want to put any expectations on how this will happen or occur, because she's worked so hard to heal these wounds, to let these swords fall out. So she stops thinking these self-sabotaging thoughts that protect her from sharing her heart because it's still feeling too sensitive and too raw, etc. So she puts up these walls. She's moved past this and released this sorrow. She's released the attachment and the sadness about losing that vision of what she used to want. And the next thing on her mind is this 9 of Cups, which is fulfillment, wish fulfillment. And when you get the 9 of Cups, whether upright or in reverse, it means that you get the wish, you get your wish. And so what she's understanding, but the balancing that's happening is I can't accept defeat in regards to what it is that I wish for. But I can't wish for something that's selfish. I can't wish for something that's ego-based. I have to wish for something that's for the good of all, right? That's for my best interest and for the best interest of that person that I'm supposed to be with. And I'm impatient because I know that there is divine intervention here that's bringing this wish fulfillment to me. And I know that I don't have control over what it looks like. But I'm releasing my sorrow about that fact that I don't have that control, and that it won't be exactly what I thought it would be, and that it will be something new, because my wish is to establish this foundation with this Four of Wands. This card is says on the bottom, establishment, right, for the Ten of Pentacles. And what is it that she wants to establish but a solid foundation for a sacred union? So this is what she will achieve, because this is her wish. And she does understand that. And this Hermit energy that we saw in the back of her mind that was underlying everything yesterday, it's on her mind today in regards of this Three of Swords energy. In that when she went within and searched out her reasons for her behaviors, she found these wounds. She was able to face the truth and see them and release the sorrow from the pain that she endured, whatever traumas that she experienced that caused her to be in this protective mode with divine masculine and with everyone, with herself. She's gone within, and in her isolation, she's been able to establish this foundation. Now that these wounds have been healed, she's able to achieve that sacred union, but she's still alone. And that's where the overthinking comes in. I tried desperately to only get a few cards, and first there was 7 cards that came out, and I was like, okay, we already have 4. We're not going to add 7 to 4. That's crazy. So I put them back in, and then another chunk flew out, and I was like, okay, please, I only need 2 cards, and then we got this. And so I was like, all right, this is a divine feminine who is thinking and thinking. And thinking about this wish fulfillment. And here's the things she's thinking. And I haven't seen these also. We're being surprised by some of them. Number 1, we're seeing 3 of Cups, friendship, third party. So outside, maybe seeking outside of this traditional idea she's had about what constituted this Ten of Pentacles. So an openness, fun, having fun, celebrating, turning to her friends. There's something here also. It's interesting because the 3 of Cups was in reverse, and we were seeing this worry and concern about third party energy, but we're seeing it upright in regards to wish fulfillment. So her wish is to wanting to reunite with divine masculine and to be able to celebrate with him too, because this wouldn't be here, and the 10 of Pentacles wouldn't be here. We know that union, that polarity of coming together, the masculine and the feminine energy coming into sacred union, is her desire. But she's alone, so she's turning to her friends, I think, to be able to help achieve this wish fulfillment. There's that divine intervention I mentioned and didn't know we were going to see. And this is the one that's usually all right, you need things shaken up. You need me to really shift the energy for you. Okay, well, here we are at the Tower moment now. So there is this potential third party thing happening where divine feminine is I have seen the light, and I don't know how long divine masculine is going to be in this healing energy, and I love him, but I need to, 2 of Swords, make that decision that I don't want to make, to either walk away and go into third party energy in order to really achieve my wish fulfillment, because without divine intervention, I can't see the fulfillment of my wish fulfillment with this particular divine masculine. He is isolating himself. He's on his own. He's defeated. He seems defeated. He's not, maybe he doesn't want to accept defeat, but he seems like he can't do anything else. So Divine Feminine is like, look, I can't make this choice. I cannot make this choice. So I'm going to just like hang out with my friends. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to seek out the essence of the thing that is my wish fulfillment. And I'm going to allow the divine to do its work, because I can't, my hands, like, I can't make this decision. I'm just going to trust my intuition in this high priestess energy. So I get why there's overthinking. That's a lot, Divine Feminine. That's just the headspace. We're at 15 minutes, and that's just the headspace. And then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, also overfeeling in the heart space. The top of the deck, overall feeling of the heart space, is this new deck, the Muse Tarot, and we have the Queen of Materials in this deck. I like the words they used in place of the traditional words, but we would consider this a Pentacles energy. This is her overall heart space. So there's a hardness here, not only materials like that earth energy, but there's sort of this like fixed energy of the Empress I sense coming through this determined chin of this gorgeous Queen of Pentacles. This is, of course, a queen that's abundant and fertile, and she has a solid foundation from which to rule. Her throne becomes the throne of the Empress. Like, it's really this powerful energy, and she's feeling this. She's feeling also very fixed in her mind, or fixed in her heart, rather, on feeling this energy from herself, that she can provide for herself what it is that she needs. If she needs a physical companion, she can get that, right? She doesn't have to wait for it. A Queen of Pentacles doesn't have to wait for such a thing. She has everything she possibly needs. She can just pluck it right out of the throne room. It's all around her. I had the experience, the very amazing experience a couple of years ago of being invited. My band was invited to come to Paramount Studios and record whatever we wanted for a couple of months on and off. And I was working like a job at a vegan popsicle shop during the daytime, and like teaching at Guitar Center. And then I would get a call at 9 that's like, oh, do you want to come in? And my whole life would change, because as soon as I would get to the studio, I was the talent. And so the first time I went in, we all walked through this one area, and I was like, it smells like cookies. And then we went up to the tree house where we were doing the recording, and we were chilling in there. And like maybe 5 minutes after we had passed through that kitchen and I had made that statement, there was a knock at the door, and there was a person there with cookies. And they were like, someone said they wanted cookies. I was like, what happens if I say I smell money? Like, do I get like a platter of money? So it's that kind of thing. It's like, you didn't even ask for it and it arrives, right? Queen of Pentacles energy. You're like, and boy, is that ever a Los Angeles experience of like during the daytime watching like Beverly Hills Housewives on your phone while you're peeling thousands of bananas, and then later being like, what can I get you? You know, like, and everything is just delivered to you on a silver platter. You're like, what is this town? It's so weird. The niggling feeling in her heart space is the 5 of Cups, or 5 of emotions in this deck. So she's trying not to be sad, because this is not what she wants. Her wish fulfillment is sacred union with the divine masculine, with a specific iteration. But she knows that she can't want this specific iteration and have it at the same time. And so she has to let it go. So she's trying not to be sad. She's trying to be optimistic. She's trying to really hone in on that feeling of that Queen of Cups energy, or Queen of Pentacles energy, and fully feeling the power that she has and just being optimistic. A queen like this has the power to attract whatever it is that she wants, needs, right? Then we have the Hierophant. in reverse. This is what's clarifying the Ten of Pentacles. And I have an interesting thing coming from this card. And it's that Divine Feminine is like, can we just date? Could we just like date each other? Like, I feel like because we have this cosmic connection and all of this stuff, we feel this pressure that we have to rush into this like traditional legal agreement and have this traditional Ten of Pentacles that we talked about when we first saw the Ten of Pentacles. But like, couldn't we just fucking go on a date at this point? Like, that's all I want. Divine Feminine's like, I want to hold hands walking in a park somewhere, okay? I want to be on the beach and be like, oh, look at the sunset. I don't care about my house and my car and all that shit. I just want to go on a date. Like, there's a strong feeling of this from her heart space. And she's also feeling this, she's wanting her heart space to release that urgency of the Hierophant energy of like, must be coupled, because that energy came from a feeling that somehow she was lacking. But what the fuck does the Queen of Pentacles need anyone else for? She doesn't. Divine Feminine has been told that she is the weaker sex. And, you know, first of all, she has to be superhuman because she has to take care of all of the children and do all of the birthing. And then she has to do also a full-time job and have a career, or if she stays at home. Like, it's just like, you can't win in whatever role you've accepted. Either you're cold and distant because you chose your career, or you focus too much on your kids and you don't have your own independent life. And like, just fucking shut up, man. Just fucking shut up about judging other people about your shadows all the fucking time. But Divine Feminine definitely has hit a point where she's like, oh, I'm not the weaker sex by any means. I'm absolutely able to protect myself, provide for myself, come up with great ideas, follow through on them, attract a lot of abundance, attract attention. And I'm a good person, because the Queen of Pentacles is also a really lovely person, right? So she's just sort of like, I don't even really need to get married or anything. Like, she's this new ideas that she's trying to embrace about herself. So that Knight of Swords energy that came in yesterday, that was a lot about being like, listen, I need to start all over. I need to start all over, because everything, it's not just romance that I was mistaken about, because I was raised in with all these crazy beliefs that really aren't real by the TV and the media and my dysfunctional, you know, role models all around me. Like, it's not just about romance. It's also about like every single concept I had about myself and why I would need to be with another partner. Like, why do I need that? I don't. I just think it will be fun, right? Like that Three of Cups energy. Like, I just want to have fun. I just want to go to a fucking date. Like, why are we so serious all the goddamn time? We're getting the Six of Wands, inspiration in reverse. So the Six of Wands in this deck, which of course this is my first time really reading. Well, I was reading from it a little bit yesterday, but really love the imagery. Obviously, traditional Six of Wands imagery is about victory and achieving something. And it's about achieving it with others too, because in the OG imagery, there's an individual on a horse with a laurel wreath, and then there's like soldiers that are like, yay, around the soldier. I don't know what I'm talking about. But in this case, when we see it in its reverse, a lot of times I'm called to think about there's a resistance to solo victory here. And in some ways, I think Divine Feminine is feeling like her victory is eluding her. That sacred union that she craved from that traditional legal contract that she thought she needed to have. She's realizing that trying to get to that at all costs is what kind of caused this, or it was caused by these wounds, really. And what was causing the triggering that was coming from these wounds, because it was this, she felt like, oh, I need to have this commitment, because if I don't have this like security, then I'm going to lose it, thinking that the security from this legal contract or something, it would somehow free her of any of the feelings, thoughts, ideas she had about her abandonment issues. But my gal, like, it's not going to work like that, babes. Like, your abandonment issues don't go away with a legal contract. I don't know what it is that we do. We think about like, well, just when he commits to me, or just when he speaks to me, or just when I know. And no, it's not any, it's like there's no external thing that is going to switch the flip in you, or flip the switch in you, that's going to make you suddenly wake up one day and not have abandonment issues. The only thing that you can do about that is heal them. So her heart is like, your victory, it's not about getting to this physical union or this legal contract or validation that you are loved. Your victory, first of all, is you know who you are. You become yourself. And that you're healing these wounds that, as you heal them, allow you to be a healthy, functioning, happy individual who can then be a light for other people in the world. That's the true victory. So your heart's like, don't get it twisted. It's not about physical union. The Nine of Cups and the world, the cosmos, right? The completion, the end of a cycle. Wish fulfillment. Your wish is granted. What is Divine Feminine's wish? What does she want to have completion and fulfillment in regards to? The Four of Wands, which is being clarified by the Six of Pentacles, reciprocity. So this established foundation is built upon reciprocity, reciprocal energy coming from Divine Masculine. That's the completion of the cycle. That's what her wish is. I wish to feel a reciprocal amount of energy. I wish to feel certain that he loves me as much as I love him. But guess what? Guess who gives her that certainty? Herself. Divine Masculine can't say or do anything that will ever make her feel secure. She has to trust her own intuition, trust that she asked for divine intervention. Divine intervention has been provided, and that this person is the person that she's meant to have this experience with, no matter what the experience constitutes, whether it's a situation where it goes swimmingly or very badly. It's for her, not to her. And until she feels that security and that trust that this is meant to happen to me and I'm supposed to have this experience and I'm going to be open-hearted and I'm going to trust and I'm going to love, until she can do that, then Divine Masculine can't do that with her, right? So she's working on it. 8 of Pentacles. Through her passion, through her independence, through her ability to create this Queen of Pentacles feeling inside of herself, where she can provide, where she can create, where she can give herself what she needs, including physical contact, companionship, whether it is with a specific entity or one who matches her. She's working on it. She's been on her own doing this work in this solo energy. And that is what this time has been for. Her heart is like, that's why you were on your own. That's why you were alone. That's why Divine Masculine hasn't been here. That's why you don't have someone holding your hand. That's why you're not getting your pussy pounded today. Because if you didn't do this work, you couldn't truly ever understand that the reciprocity, first of all, has to come from yourself. The security has to come from yourself. Your wish fulfillment has to come from yourself through the fulfillment of your passions, through the urges and desires that you have, through you taking action towards them. And the overfeeling we have the 4 of voices or swords and the 9 of voices or swords. So the last feeling in her heart space is, first of all, the silence that she endures from divine masculine causes her incredible amounts of anxiety and worry and fears. And that this is what her headspace. Remember, divine feminine's headspace is often the counter to the fears in the heart space. And divine masculine's heart space is often the counter to the fears of his headspace. So in this case, her heart is like, the silence I endure from divine masculine makes me feel fucking terrified. It makes me feel so insecure. It makes me sabotage and protect myself. It makes me go into a state where I'm blocking him, right? It causes all of this kind of 9 of swords, anxiety, can't sleep. It's just, so it's the worst feeling. And her headspace is like this: you must trust your intuition and not allow the silence to cause these tower moments, because that is what destabilizes you. That is what causes you to go into this defensive mode. And you need to stay in this, don't be so serious. Don't let yourself overthink like this. Trust, have faith, because the 4 of swords is also about prayer and trusting, believing that you've asked and it's being given. All right, divine masculine. Wow, let's dig in. Okay. Top of the deck, overall headspace for divine masculine, forefront of his mind. He can't stop thinking about it. The high priestess in reverse. Oh, she doesn't understand me. She doesn't trust me. Because you don't trust yourself. So there's issues with in trusting himself, intuition. He feels this feeling that he doesn't want divine feminine. Look at how divine feminine is looking in this high priestess energy. First of all, I'm like, queen badass bitch, okay? And he's like terrified. Like, this is not the kind of look he wants to receive. He wants to see the, like, oh, I love you. He wants this one. I'm going to show you this card because I want to compare these 2 cards. This is the last thing on his mind and we'll get to it. But look at the difference here. This is like, everything you do is so wonderful. And this card is like, bitch, stay back unless you're coming correct towards me, right? So he's like, please, I don't want to be in the doghouse. And then, like, I don't want divine feminine to be seeing me this way with this hardness. Like, I want her to trust me. But she doesn't trust me and she doesn't understand what's going on and what is happening. And I don't trust myself. That's the other thing. He's like, I don't trust myself. And then the niggling feeling in his headspace and in the back of his mind is the 3 of swords in reverse. So we've got union here. Now, divine feminine, I guess we could also have the interpretation here when we see this, that divine feminine is feeling that her victory is being blocked by third-party energy. But understanding that third-party energy is a match to divine feminine's wounds. So for as long as she has these wounds that are healing, her victory is blocked. And it doesn't matter who is the party in the third party. It really is irrelevant. That's why she no longer has like feelings. She doesn't feel some type of way about like, oh, this person in Divine Masculine's life, or this job that he has, or this whatever it is, this limiting belief system, or this or that or that. She's not like, fuck that. She's just like, that's what the universe picked to match my vibration. And my vibration is like, I can't be with who I want because I don't deserve it yet. Right? You know, like whatever the fuck it is, like insert your issue there. Or like, I don't want him because then he might die someday and I'll lose him forever. Like, I don't know what the logic is of the inner child, because the inner child is illogical. The inner child thinks in black and white, you know? Like, the inner child is like, I have to do everything now or nothing at all. Like, there's no gray areas for a mind that is underdeveloped and hasn't been guided. So she knows third party energy. It literally doesn't matter who this is. It doesn't matter. That's why I don't do readings like, oh, the karmic partner is doing this and hiring somebody to sabotage you, and you better protect yourself with an amulet that costs $30 on my website. Like, no. You don't need amulets. You don't need protective mantras that you pay for. You can make your own amulets and come up with your own protective mantras, and you don't need to protect yourself from anyone outside of yourself. You have to heal the wound inside of yourself that's causing you to see a reflection of your wound. I swear. I swear. So the niggling feeling for Divine Masculine is, this third party energy. She doesn't understand. She doesn't understand about this third party that's bothering us, that's causing us trouble. And Divine Feminine is like, no, honey, I understand. I understand about the third party, and I understand the third party is right here. It's right there. It's your wounded heart, babe. And you're healing it. And me too. And it will be a shared victory. It will. So she does understand, but Divine Masculine is thinking, no, she doesn't understand. She doesn't understand how serious this is. She doesn't understand. She understands, but it still means the same thing. It means Divine Masculine needs space to sort out that third party energy. And while Divine Masculine takes the space to sort out the third party energy, Divine Feminine has to give herself the essence of what she needs. Doesn't mean she doesn't love Divine Masculine. She loves Divine Masculine very much. It means she loves herself too. The first thing on Divine Masculine's mind is, why am I being such a dick? This is the Ace of Wands energy in reverse. And he's really like, I'm being a dick. Like, first of all, he's having trouble suppressing anger at the situation, at the third party energy, honestly, at Divine Feminine. He's just like, can't she just wait? Can't she just wait? But he knows that that's crazy. But he's trying to suppress those kind of passions. But he's also suppressing his heart's desire. Every suppression that happens with Divine Masculine is just a denial. Denying himself, denying himself, denying himself. And he's thinking about that. It's like, why do I keep doing this? Why do I do this? The next thing on his mind is this Ace of Cups. So that's the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Cups. And this is a filled up cup, and it's overflowing. And it's been filled by divine energy. And it's ready to be shared. But it's just sitting here. Because the next card up is the Hanged Man. And this won't go away. This is Divine Masculine Stalker card. We've got this 3-4 days now. So here he is. Now the Hanged Man is about surrendering, but it's not here because of surrendering today. It's, I don't know what to do. I guess it is about surrendering because I don't know what to do. I'm going to surrender to not knowing what to do. But my heart's desire is to give this cup. And instead of giving this cup, I'm just hanging here in suspension. And then we've got Knight of Wands energy. And the Knight of Wands energy is what's clarifying this Ace of Wands, which is why I said he's thinking about how he's been a dick, because the Knight of Wands energy is inconsistent, coming in, getting his needs met. Part of his needs are for Divine Feminine to feel that he's communicating with her. So he thinks he's doing her a favor by, expressing these passionate outbursts to her. But really, it's just about unloading his feelings because he can't follow through with it. So all he's doing is keeping her as an option while working out the kinks. Meanwhile, holding Divine Feminine spellbound by his, passionate expression, and then literally blocking her future happiness because she can't move on from him. But he wants to come into the light traits of the Knight of Wands, which include, going in and sweeping someone off their feet, throwing caution to the wind, going more a bit into that Fool energy, and just rushing in and just following your heart. And here's the Star, but it's in reverse. Now, when we see the Star in reverse, it's a card that's about hope and about healing. It's got similar meanings to the Temperance in that there's this healing that's going on. There's this Divine Feminine energy that's pouring the unconscious into the material. And so it's about this wish that you have coming down and being fulfilled on the earth. And of course, the wish that he has is to be able to share his cup. But the way that he has chosen to express his passions for Divine Feminine have been to keep her hidden. He's kept her hidden and not revealed. And by not revealing Divine Feminine, who is he not revealing? He's not revealing himself, because he is the Divine Feminine. So if he keeps this emotional part of himself hidden because of his fears and anxieties about people seeing him as weak or less than or too sensitive or whatever it is that he's concerned about, he's hiding really himself. He's being inauthentic himself. He has such a strong passion for this Divine Feminine. But he knows that the ways that he's engaged with her in this hidden way have been just problematic. And the last thing he's thinking we saw already, because we compared it to the High Priestess. The first thing on his mind is Divine Feminine, and the last thing on his mind is Divine Feminine. The first thing on his mind is his Divine Feminine in her ultimate feminine power. He also feels powerless to this energy, that she is this sorceress in a way, that he's spellbound by her. And just like Divine Feminine feels spellbound by him, he feels this same enslavement to her to a certain extent. So he feels that pull of that Divine Feminine energy. And the last thing in his mind is that sweet, true love, openness, that heart-centered feeling that he has for her and he senses from her. And these warring halves of himself, the fear that he holds about having somebody have this much power over him, and the love and desire he has to have someone look at him with adoration like that, that is what has him in this hanged man state. He's like, I don't want to surrender my power to her, but I want her to look at me like this for the rest of my life. Yeah, we know. Okay. Top of the deck for the heart space for divine masculine. I just saw 4440 on the clock. 4444 just now when I looked up again. Okay, cool. Princess of Cups in his heart space as well. So there she is. We just talked about her in union. This is Page of Cups energy, princess in both of these decks, Cosmic Tarot and True Heart Intuitive Tarot. And at the very center of his heart is his divine feminine. He himself is also heart-centered. He himself also is open and feeling vulnerable. This is a very uncomfortable energy. This is this goofy, awkward energy too. It's like this naivete. And he both loves it and feels resistance at the same time. The niggling feeling is the Four of Pentacles in his heart space. So it's upright. And this is a card we see often in the Cosmic Tarot. We're seeing him associate this with external validation. But I think actually in this imagery at this moment, the way that I'm feeling about it is that he feels there is a solid foundation here. We have everything we need. And I have been clinging to this material foundation, and I need to be more heart-centered and less centered on this material fixation. I have established a foundation already for myself, and now I need a foundation for my heart. The Hanged Man. But it's in reverse. And when it's in reverse, we see this four that is formed by the legs of the Hanged Man. It's also a sacred symbol, but it's that stability and that foundation that we just looked at with the Four of Pentacles. And the one that Divine Feminine is seeking in her Four of Wands that she has in her headspace. This is what is clarifying the Ace of Wands. I have to come out of this Hanged Man energy and stand on my own with the perspective that I've gained and go after my heart's desire. I can't be in this Hanged Man paused energy anymore in regards to what it is that I desire. It's not okay. Oh my God, the next card is, I can't fucking believe it. Okay, fine. Ten of Wands in reverse, which is completion, unburdening. It's about having carried so much on your shoulders for so long. This is one of the things that where Divine Masculine, when Divine Feminine's like, it's unfair, blah, 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 and has her feelings. Divine Masculine's like, oh yeah? Well, how about this for unfair? First of all, I'm X years older than you or younger than you or whatever the factor is. So if it's I'm X years older than I've waited X amount of time longer for you than you've waited for me, number one. Number two, I have huge responsibilities. Like the financial numbers on my responsibilities compared to yours. Let's be real. These are huge burdens, Divine Feminine. So I feel like you can't understand. I feel like you don't trust me. You don't trust me that there would be something fucking pretty goddamn big to prevent me from coming towards you, obviously. And Divine Feminine's like, bro, I get it. But then do you want me to just be a nun in the convent of you for the rest of my life until you can put these down so that you don't feel jealous? There's a lot going on. Divine Masculine, 10 of Wands in reverse, because he's overdue for putting these burdens down. Like he should have put these burdens down a long fucking time ago. And when he does put it down, he's going to unburden himself to Divine Feminine. And this cup is going to overflow. And it's not just like these are all of the reasons, and I'm sorry, and I love you, and I wish you would have understood, and hopefully you're going to apologize to me because he feels like he deserves that. And I think that they both do. So there is going to be that reciprocity of forgiveness and absolution and salvation and da 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 da. And then there's the outpouring of the passion. Because the other burden has been trying to suppress this sexual energy, right? That has been a huge burden for both of them. So he is like ready to put this down with this cup when he offers it. And the reason why I was like, here's the motherfucking Ace of Wands. Do you remember just now that we were like, oh, this Hanged Man in reverse is clarifying this Ace of Wands that's in reverse. Yeah, well, now you know what we have. We have the Ace of Wands upright, clarifying the motherfucking Hanged Man upright. Like, what happens? What can you? I want a mathematician to be like, the odds of that happening are 1 in 1 billion, because what the fuck? So he's like, yeah, come out of this Hanged Man energy and stop being a dick and like go after your heart's desire. And his heart is like, my heart's desire, I have been able to discover by surrendering to the divine and just surrendering to my heart's desire. So it's like, come out of being in this pause energy and surrender to your heart's desire. There's that divine intervention. It's the Tower that was over on divine feminine side, but it's in reverse because this energy, this Prince of Wands energy, you can't fucking do anything with the Prince of Wands energy. You can't rebuild a motherfucking tower with Prince of Wands energy. That shit has no stability. It has no reliability. It has no consistency. And so every time you try to rebuild a tower with this dumbass energy, it doesn't work. And his heart is like, bro, if you want to rebuild this, you can't do it by being this knight that flies in willy-nilly, sticks his dick in it, leaves. It's never going to work. It's not going to work. You have to complete these cycles. Here's the World card. It's coming in reverse for divine feminine. In her heart space, the world is upright because she's done, honey. She's done. She's completed her cycles. She knows what she wants. She's going to give it to herself. She's ready to go. There she is. She's like, okay, I need this. I need this. I need this. While I'm waiting, quote unquote, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just going to keep it pushing. And it's not like, oh, I'm moving on because I wasted my time. My friend pointed that out to me last night. Like, don't have to talk about it as in like moving on, but just sort of like, this is what's happening now. Divine masculine has got to complete these cycles. He's got to end this. This big shift and this big change has to happen so that he can stop hiding himself / the divine feminine from the world, because he's been protecting this divine feminine from his world. But he has to complete the cycle about these fears of revealing her. And here's his over feeling. The moon. This is keeping things hidden. What is he keeping hidden? Divine feminine. In this Page of Cups energy, he's keeping his true love hidden. So the actual iteration of his true love and his own true love, he's keeping hidden. He's keeping it here in this 5D energy where it's safe, in the subconscious, in the dream space. The song today, there were 3 songs today. The first one was Street of Dreams, sung by Peggy Lee. And the second one was Feeling. It was an Alabama Shake song, but they didn't have it on Instagram. This Feeling. It was great. And then I literally just looked at it. Trouble by TV on the Radio for Divine Feminine, which go listen to that one. That was so what Divine Feminine is dealing with right now. Oh my God. But we have divine masculine keeping his divine feminine hidden in this dreams. And it's just a fantasy. It's just what he's escaped to. There it is there in the Seven of Cups, where you're just building a life of fantasy and you're confused. You don't know which thing to choose. You don't know how to go forward. You're kind of at the mercy of this fantasy that you've created. And you're, rather than make a decision, you're sort of just, standing there afraid and overwhelmed and not certain that like what you want to happen is ever going to happen. And so he's kept her hidden because he's created this fantasy and it feels good to him. But this Ace of Swords is here. This is looking at yourself. This is a cold, hard truth. It's approaching with a new idea and a new perspective. And this is coming from the row with the Hanged Man. So the Ace of Swords is what is gained in this new perspective. And the Ace of Swords is, I have to end the cycle where I keep my divine feminine hidden. Because I want the material manifestation of my divine feminine. I want to be with this Nine of Pentacles energy. I want to have my reward of an integrated divine feminine energy inside of myself, one that I accept, embrace, honor, respect, uplift, support, get behind. That divine feminine energy inside of me, my feelings, my emotions. I need to honor that, because as I integrate my true heart-centered, loving, caring soul, balanced, my divine feminine will be manifest outside of myself. Okay. Progress. All right, let's look at divine feminine's oracles. Girl, right now you are in the, I think I see a card I don't want to see. You are in the light attributes of the orphan child. And this is having learned the independence based on learning to go it alone and conquering the fear of survival. We got this card this week, so it's coming out again. And it's just here for you today because your feelings of abandonment that stifle maturation have been released. So these abandonment feelings that keep you from being able to grow and expand into loving relationships, these have been released, particularly in regards to a specific iteration. So for instance, yesterday you were seeing yourself as being ready, having come to a point where you are ready to call in a companion energy of some kind. Put yourself out there. You're on the market, so to speak. And you are doing that even though you have a fear that you will lose the iteration of divine masculine that you really want. But the iteration of the divine masculine that you really want, he's not really coming towards you or making any moves. So in the past, you've allowed that fear that you would lose him to keep you from maturing into a new companionship energy with an energy that isn't afraid of stepping up. And so you stay in that youthful fantasy, like the 7th grader. Oh, I have a crush on him. Like, oh, I like him so much. And before you know it, you're in college and you never had anything happen with that crush. But you stayed in that immature energy of just like holding on to him. And you never open up to anyone else because you're afraid that you're going to lose that original feeling of love that you felt when you first focused on someone and used them as an excuse to see them through the eyes of source. So you've released these fears. You're like, I love my divine masculine for eternity. And I would be with him if he would be with me, but he won't. So I'm not afraid that I'm going to lose him, and I'm not going to let that fear of losing him forever stop me from just going it alone and seeing what it is that I can do for myself and give what I need to myself. And it'll be all right. Saint Joan of Arc is here to tell you you're a leader, and this is emphasized. And she's come out a lot for the couple the last week, so this is an important energy for you. She is doing something, she embodies both aspects of self, right? She was a woman and she was a divine masculine energy who took action and leadership. And so you're doing that for yourself with this Queen of Pentacles energy. You are a woman, but you are going to give yourself what you need. And she's here to support you. You are now leading the energy and the dynamic. Before, you were waiting and you were passive. And there is a certain amount of divine feminine energy associated with that. But as a whole person, you are not just a divine feminine. You are also a divine masculine energy. And you need to balance the two. You must not be too open and receiving and never taking action. And you must not be too pushing and dictatorial and, right? That's what the balance is. Family. This is a call for you to acknowledge your family. And what I mean by that is not necessarily your biological family, but of course that. But also the people in your life that you have chosen as your new family, because that is just as valid and valuable, if not more so in some ways, because sometimes the family that we choose when we incarnate, we choose to trigger us so that we grow and expand, and they're not the most fun. Let's be real. But I'm lucky to have a mixture of that. I have awesome family with some issues, right? But mostly awesome. Pretty lucky in that regard. Not everybody's as lucky as me, for sure. This is also about the family you crave and the family you want to have. And I'm telling you right now that you can have this family regardless of the specific iteration of divine masculine. You absolutely can have that family. So hold that faith. I am unapologetic about what I desire and trust that what I focus on will grow. I was watching Beverly Hills Housewives with one of my best friends last night. We've gone back to season 1. I have converted her. She's in love with it. I'm excited. It's like looking at a photo album, all these past memories with my Beverly Hills Housewives, who I love so dearly. And one of the takeaways from that show is to be unapologetic about what you desire. And if you can't watch that show comfortably, at first, I mean, there's going to be a lot of uncomfortable scenes when you watch it. But if you're uncomfortable with the wealth and the decadence, you have to remember that means that you're resistant to it for yourself. So be unapologetic about what you desire. That doesn't mean you have to be an asshole, right? Like Vanderpump does a lot of things for what she feels passionate about. Maybe you don't care as much about dogs and you think she should help human beings. Well, that's your judgment. There's people here to help everyone. Vanderpump helps dogs. She helps human beings too. But it's like you have to be unapologetic. She can desire $75,000 earrings. I just saw her get those as a birthday gift the other day. She can desire that. She is unapologetic about that. She's given way more than that away. So I have like this new appreciation for what it means to be unapologetic about what you desire, and trust that what you focus on will grow. And that is true for what you focus on as a general rule. So if you are focusing on abandonment issues, sadness, your weight, your inability to be able to pay your bills, your long ass commute to work, and how expensive properties are around where you would actually like to live, that will grow. So you have to be careful what you focus on, right? This is the card that I'm pissed to see. Blue moon, you saw me standing alone. I had a dream once about my DM, and he showed me this children's book, and it was the original lyrics for the song Blue Moon. And we looked at each other shocked because the word said, and usually you can't read in a dream either, but the word said, blue moon, you saw me standing alone without a thought in my head, with a rope tied to a stone. And we were like, oh, that's so dark. So I just thought of that. But anyway, believe in the impossible. Blue moon. So divine feminine, believe in the impossible. Continue to do that. You do that already or you wouldn't be here, because this is impossible. Can you believe how many impossible things have already happened in the spread? Continue to do that. The initiation, crossing the threshold and rite of passage. Never a very comfortable process, as far as I can tell. Rite of passages usually require discomfort. They require soul searching, being on your own. And this card had a reversal on it, which kind of gives me a sense that you have crossed the threshold. You have come through this rite of passage. And we're getting don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? Remember, if divine masculine is over there with his little star energy all turned upside down, then your star energy is also most likely turned upside down. So you are dimming your light, and then divine masculine is reflecting that back to you. So you need to really think about that and figure out exactly how you're dimming your light in order to fit in, and then stop doing that and watch divine masculine do the same. Now, you got 2 cards from Colette Baron Reed deck. We're already in 1 hour 6 minutes, but I mean, I'm just going to go for it. So if you like long readings, then you got one today, because I allowed 2 cards to fall for this because I was just like, okay, usually I only take one because I have to read these. I'm just still learning this deck. But both of these are not ones I see commonly. So we're going to have to read them. But we're getting the protection message first from Rabbit Spirit, which is now is a lucky time. And the protection message is vulnerability is required of you now, even if you don't feel safe. Act as if you trust that you will be okay, and soon you will see that you are okay. Now, what's really great about that is your song today from TV on the radio. The lyrics were like reassuring yourself that you would be okay. Oh, they're not loading, of course, but it was like, everything's going to be all right. I keep telling myself that, right? So, oh wait, I just lost my, oh no, I didn't. Act as if you trust that you will be okay, and soon you will see that you are okay. To create is to take risks. So at this fortunate, fertile time, banish your fears and recognize the real security is in immersing yourself in the process of co-creation. That is absolutely on point today. It's okay to admit that you really don't know how to deal with whatever is in front of you. This is where curiosity and not knowing can be a wonderful state of mind. Be playful now, admitting you are at the beginning of something. Come on out to frolic in the sun's nurturing light, because it is time to birth something new. That's spectacular energy to be in, divine feminine. And you are also getting magic works through you, the scarab beetle. The protection message, which is, do you doubt your unique inner magic? Are you afraid that you have no originality or that creative juices don't flow through you? Perhaps you mistakenly believe that you're not the creative manifesting type. Scarab Beetle Spirit's message is that creativity is a living force that comes to all of us from Spirit, who wants every person on the planet to manifest magic and co-create the world anew. You are as capable of resilience and innovation as anyone. If you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always got. So draw inspiration into your being and begin to playfully create something new. And do it without any judgment. Creativity and magic are your legacy as an expression of the Creator, so let them flow through you. You know, if you didn't take the opportunity to practice the magic that you have just learned that you have, if you didn't take the opportunity to allow something new and see what you can create that's not this old story, I feel like you'd be doing yourself a disservice. Like, you owe it to yourself to see, like, now that you're this magnetic, now that you've been coming here to these readings and you've been learning these things and you're feeling this energy and you understand how it works, and if you don't take advantage of that, like, I feel like you'll be sad, that you'll regret, like, when I was so magnetic, I didn't, like, make a super good magnetic profile. Like, who would I have gone on a date with? Like, who would I have had a good time with? What adventures did I miss out because I was dimming my light so that I would, I don't know, be ready for someone who's not ready for me? Like, that just doesn't seem to track with the type of queen that you really are. So it's like, now that you're this magic, like, go be this magic. All right, divine masculine, you're getting this archetype card, and it is in its reversal. And this is the one I leave in the deck that is blank, because it means that you are a blank slate. But you are in the shadow attributes of it, which means that you are feeling like you don't know who you are. You're questioning everything right now. You're in a state where you thought you knew who you were. You thought you knew what you were capable of, but now that you've been faced with the situation that you're in, you're actually completely unsure. It's like tabula rasa, and you could be anything. And you're in the shadow attributes right now of the Fool, which is using humor to wound rather than liberate, and a denial of your emotional truth. We saw that in your headspace. We saw you suppressing your emotional truth with that Princess of Wands card, that you're not allowing its fulfillment, and you're hiding of the divine feminine energy. So you're being called into the light now. I just saw 11111. Fearlessly revealing emotion and helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy. You need to fearlessly reveal your emotions, divine masculine, and you know that. You don't need me to tell you. The shadow attributes of the rescuer are assumes that the rescued will reciprocate and keeps the rescued one needy. So, you're in the shadow attributes of the rescuer. You have been keeping divine feminine needy. You've been denying your emotional truth, which in so doing, you deny divine feminine's emotional truth. After denying her emotional truth over and over and over again, you act with humor. You use Prince of Wands energy, sexual energy, passion, inappropriate, inconsistent, ineffective. And you do that to keep her needy. And you need to call the light in, which is providing strength and support to others in crisis and acting out of love with no expectation of reward. I'm going to tell you right now, I can send this message loud and clear to my divine masculine. Divine feminine, in my form, is in crisis. If you were at my reading yesterday, there's a lot of emotion behind the fact that I have been completely isolated and quarantined for a year. I'm pretty sure that they're eliminating solitary confinement in many prisons because they understand how damaging it is to somebody. So divine feminine is in crisis. And you are trying to provide strength and support through these inconsistent and ineffective means, so that you can feel like you're helping, but you know that truly you must, to act out of love with no expectation of reward, you wouldn't be keeping divine feminine in isolation for a year, right? You wouldn't do that. So you need to call in the light. Saint Dymphna is here to help you with your emotions. There's an emphasis here. She's like, I've been here for you. You see me and you don't call on me. You're afraid of me, right? You're afraid of these emotions. It's not a coincidence that we're seeing this powerful, guided by emotions energy that comes from the High Priestess appearing in reverse in your oracle message, and emphasizing that this is a problem for you. Because you being salty, she doesn't trust me. She doesn't believe in me. She doesn't think I'm going to do what I say. She doesn't realize that I have these problems that I can't control. That's you talking to your divine feminine inside of yourself. You don't trust. You don't trust. That's why you're seeing that as divine feminine shadow. That's your shadow. So Saint Dymphna is here to help you really be guided by your emotions instead of resisting them and pushing against them. And then you're getting this, and this is like the sleep card in reverse, and this is wake the fuck up. Like, this isn't like, oh, you know, you need more sleep. No, this is wake up. Wake up! Call on your strength, which you have much of. If this is your divine feminine, do you know a stronger divine feminine? Do you know a more patient divine feminine? Because for her to be impatient now, after all this time, seems pretty reasonable. So this divine feminine is you, right? This is your inner strength. This is your energy. This is your eternal, infinite bond. Believe in it. I surrender to a power greater than me. With the Hanged Man so many times over on your spread, this is so important for you. You need to surrender. Nobody is more powerful than the Creator. I'm sorry to tell you. No one is more powerful. His ass raises people from the dead. You see Christ back there on the wall? He brought his ass back from the dead. There is no one more powerful than the Creator. So stop thinking that you are and just surrender. Trust that your hard work is paying off. You're not getting yelled at because you're not working hard. You are working hard, but you need to wake up. You need to surrender to that power greater than you and surrender to your heart's desire. Please do it. You're getting the Mirror card in reverse. Who or what is triggering you? Right now, you're resisting this lesson. You don't like it because you see Divine Feminine doing her thing and you're like, wow, fuck that. And then you have to ask yourself, what? Wait, I'm doing that. I'm doing that. How are you doing that? Figure it out. Figure out how you're doing what I'm doing. And that will show you how to shift what you're doing so that I won't do that. That's how it works. You're getting White Raven Spirit. Trust, 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 trust in the magic. This is such a trust in the magic card. Trust in the magic. Nothing in the universe is random. For the intricate web of co-creation weaves together all events and has done so since the beginning of time. Coincidences have meaning, and White Raven Spirit appears to remind you to pay attention to these synchronicities so that you might recognize patterns. Even the winds dance in a pattern, participating in the magic of Spirit's plan for all. Align with the highest good and intentions, and you will come to see that White Raven is guiding you, an ally to you, and a messenger from Spirit. Align with the light, and you will start to recognize that all is working together harmoniously in ways the eye can't always see and the mind can't always comprehend. The universe is conspiring on your behalf right now, drawing you to the light and bringing you the magic and miracles that are your birthright. Now is the time to trust in the magic of the world that is everywhere and in all things. Pay attention to how things come together, as if by magic, and you will see the hand of Great Spirit arranging things in your favor. So surrender to that and trust in the magic. That was a 66 card, and it's 118.55 when I look at the time. Okay. Welcome to the end of the reading. Finally, at over 20 minutes long. This is a doozy. I apologize, but there must have been a lot of messages today, and I have to teach soon. Okay, bottom of the deck for the two of you in union. These are the oracle messages that are shared between you. You need to come into the light of the God archetype, which is benevolence and compassion and recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others, you have slipped into the shadow attributes of despotism and cruelty and using power to control people. So, careful, careful. You have a tendency to be controlling because you are very wounded. If you can control all the parameters around the wounds of your heart, you can keep them from being opened again, right? Surrender. Surrender to God, both of you. You will be triumphant. Your guardian angel is here to tell you you're going to be triumphant. I know you don't believe me, but believe me, believe in the impossible, right? Inspiration. This is interesting because of all the decks, now the deck that was gifted to me came from the list that's in the description box of my YouTube. I have a list of decks that I have been looking at or wishing for. And I was sent this Muse Tarot. And the whole theme of this is inspiration, the muse. So I think it's powerful to see this card from a completely different deck come out today and remind me again of this muse energy. And of something my dad said to me recently. I finally told my dad most of what has been going on in my life. I've kept some of it from him. And when I finished telling him, he said first that my DM had a lot of explaining to do. That was like, yeah. And then he said, maybe you're just his muse, kid. And I was like, maybe. I don't know if I'm just his muse, but I definitely know that we function this way for each other. So to see this at the bottom of the deck for both of us is profound. Like, you are an inspiration for expansion for each other. You have caused, your focus on one another has caused you to create and manifest these incredible things and share them with others. And you are a light to others. And that light comes from this connection that you have between the two of you. Hope is the conduit for miracles. So move into the upright position in that star card energy and fully feel the power of that hope and trust that the answers you need are coming, twins, right? This Gemini twin energy, the answers that you need are coming in regards to this journey. And this emphasis is a big one. Share your voice. Come out of the cave. Face the potential persecution you may experience from revealing who you are to the world. But your expression is so vital. It's almost insulting to the divine that you're like, do you think I would have picked you? Do you think I would make a mistake choosing you to be my vessel? Do you think that I made a mistake? Oh, tiny, insignificant human. Because I didn't. So if I'm telling you to come out and express yourself and you don't do it, that's like you telling me, oh, God made a mistake. The creator, the all-knowing, all-seeing being who knows all things, fucked up. I'm just me. I'm just Harry. I'm not a wizard. I'm not a witch. I'm just Harry, right? You must have got that wrong, Dumbledore, Hogwarts. Y'all don't know who I am. Oh my God. Please come out of the cave. Please express yourselves. Please do what you've been asked to do over and over, week after week, day after day, year after year. We are getting dolphin spirit. This and that are true. And we're getting the protection message. When you most want to be acknowledged as right and see other ways as wrong, dolphin spirit appears as a reminder that the story of your suffering and righteousness is a little more complicated than you are admitting right now. Do you want to see things in black and white and be rigid in your ideas of what's correct and what is not? Release your rigidity and embrace the fluidity of life as you recognize the grays that remind you there are two sides to every story, an upside to each downside, and a blessing in every challenge. What you think is wrong may end up being right for you. So let Dolphin Spirit soften your heart so that you make the best decision at this time, playing with the possibilities that present themselves. I already talked today about black and white thinking and about how we need to have gray areas and about how this and that are true. And I think the message for me that's very strong here is for Divine Feminine, who's been in this place where she's like, how do I navigate feeling this deep love for somebody and wanting them to return to me, but understanding that they can't right now, and that because of that, I need to give myself what I need, which is companionship in some way. And what if I call in this companion and this is a good thing for us, and then my divine masculine returns? And then does that mean that like I'm wounding this other person and like da da da? And how can I exist in this space? Because I either have to be with this person who won't be with me or no one. And there's this reassurance for both right now that this and that are true. It is both true that there is deep love here. And it is true that that love can be experienced and expansive through other relationships and still be true. It doesn't diminish the love at all. Because unconditional love isn't jealous. It's not guarded. It doesn't feel depleted and diminished in someone else's fulfillment. It feels secure because it doesn't doubt itself and it knows that it's there no matter what. And it's the type of energy that when it passes from this world supports the partner left behind in a new relationship and seeks for them to feel another sense of fulfillment. And if you can't be in this material plane with this person in this lifetime, then you absolutely, in a state of unconditional love, would be wanting them to experience happiness with someone else. So this and that are true. It doesn't mean that your ego doesn't feel some type of way, because your ego will, but it's your ego. That's not your higher self. It's the part of you that's attached to the material aspects, to the material fulfillment, and to your own desires. But your desires are just the inspiration that shows you where you need to go in the larger, bigger picture. They're just the small little things that are the catalyst for you to shift and change and grow into a much more powerful and healing type of a being, which is what we're doing here when we come to these readings. So, all right, let's close finally with a goddess energy. This is to balance the goddess energy inside of ourselves. You can put two hands over your heart sometime today and say for 15 minutes as a mantra, my heart is the heart of the goddess. You can visualize any divine feminine energy from any modality. The idea is just to give the same amount of respect and honor, I guess, to divine feminine energy. I pull a card from this goddess knowledge deck just to see the different goddesses that have existed across cultures and throughout time. Thetis is a Greek sea goddess who represents fertility. She is a creator goddess, for all life begins in the sea, and she is usually portrayed as a nereid or sea nymph, a beautiful, young, semi-divine goddess fond of dancing and singing. She helped raise the artisan god Hephaestus and once provided sanctuary for Dionysus. Thetis is particularly known as a shapeshifter. When Peleus desired to marry her, she transformed herself into fire, water, a lion, and a serpent in order to escape him. As the personification of calm waters, Thetis is responsible for providing a peaceful sea. She is that center of peace and calm that is always available, even in the midst of changing forms. She is a goddess who enjoys life's pleasures. All right. Thank you so much for joining me on this rather long reading today. I think it was a really beautiful one, though. And I hope you got a lot out of it. If you need a personal reading or have questions for me, anything at all, you can send me an email at tunedintarot@gmail.com or hit me up in my DMs at tunedintarot on Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, you can also see when I'm going live because I typically post a time lapse with the shuffle and the songs that accompanied the shuffle if they're available on Instagram. Yesterday, for some reason, it wouldn't allow me to post one of them. So it's touch and go sometimes, but normally you can see that over there and get a sense of what the reading is probably going to be about based on the songs that come up that day. Please like, subscribe, share, help grow my channel. You can click on the links below for Patreon, or if you want to send me a deck and change up the imagery. Although I'm like, now I'm starting to get so torn because I have so many decks I love, and I'm like, what do I use? Like, and also my desk is starting to get out of control. Like, I'm gonna need a shelf for my decks soon. It's a thing, but that's not a bad problem to have. I really appreciate all of the gifts and all of the energy and light that you send me. Thank you so much. Take care and have a gorgeous day today. I'll see you tomorrow here on Tune In Tarot. It is my flex day. I may not be here in the morning, but you will definitely see me live on Instagram with Grace Strega at 12 p.m. for our weekly check-in. We each take a divine masculine or a divine feminine side, and we just go, and then we answer personal questions, so you can actually have questions answered at the end of that session. So that's tomorrow at noon on Instagram, Tune In Tarot. All right, now you can have a nice day.